Live from the entertainment capital of the world, Doug Basham.
Hey guys, Doug Basham here. My website is DougBasham.com. My email, Doug@DougBasham.com. I couldn't help but notice some recent comments from one John Dean, former White House counsel for former President Richard Nixon, best known for his role in the cover-up of the Watergate scandal and his subsequent testimony to Congress as a witness. 2, late-night host Stephen Colbert. 3, Paul Rosenzweig, contributing editor at the Lawfare blog. And 4, Politico. Here's what John Dean posted on X on Sunday, December 1st. Quote, Biden should keep going with his pardons. Trump, Jack Smith and team, Mueller and team, and a blanket pardon for all on Trump's enemies list for any and all political statements before December 25th, 2024. Merry Christmas, smiley face emoji. Take the wind out of retribution/revenge. End quote. And of course, if he's suggesting Biden pardon Trump, oh, hell no. The rest I agree with. The following day, on Monday, December 2nd, late-night host Stephen Colbert said this.
I say he should go full bucket list. Just pardon everybody. Just load up those pardons into a Nerf machine gun and go pop, 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 pop. Or you know what? You know what would be really funny? This would be really funny. If Joe pardoned, like, every late-night host. And just because I think it would be a funny bit, I would accept that pardon.
And then on Tuesday, Paul Rosenzweig, contributing editor at the Lawfare blog, offered this.
I was listening to your earlier broadcast. You were talking about Kash Patel. He's got a list of 60 people he wants to prosecute. And so it strikes me as perfectly reasonable to ask, what can President Biden do within the bounds of law, even if it would not be normatively traditional, to save his allies from that? And the answer is obviously pardon them.
And the reason I found these comments interesting is because not only do I agree with them, I said the exact same thing on just my 5th show after the election last month. How about this as a wild secondary suggestion? And it's another idea I've not yet heard anyone else mention, which of course is why people watch and listen to this show, because they hear things on this show they won't hear anywhere else. How about you start compiling a list of the people you know Team Trump is going to go after and try to prosecute and throw in prison just for doing their jobs? People like Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Letitia James, and so many more. And I don't know, start issuing preemptive pardons. Does that sound like a good idea? It would surely take some of the wind out of Trump's dirty and tattered, but apparently still operational sails. And then finally, on Wednesday, December 4th, Politico reported a story that carried the headline, quote, Biden White House is discussing preemptive pardons for those in Trump's crosshairs, end quote. Okay, better late than never, I guess. Good to see the Democrats are on it. Or are they? Just when you think Democrats are showing some spine and initiative, the Politico story continued, quote, White House officials, however, are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who have committed no crimes, both because it could suggest impropriety, only fueling Trump's criticisms, and because those offered preemptive pardons may reject them, end quote. First, some may reject them. Not an issue. The point is, you know they're in danger. You offer them the pardon. If they refuse, they've made their bed. They got to sleep in it. You move on to the next person. How someone may or may not react to a pardon is hardly something to waste precious time on. As for the thought it could suggest impropriety, only fueling Trump's criticisms, are you shitting me? Trump has been dishonestly accusing you and everyone on his hit list of far worse than improprieties for 9 friggin' years. But improprieties are a concern now. Who cares if it suggests impropriety? The point is, do the right thing. And finally, this carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who have committed no crimes. Again, a complete waste of valuable time. I find it amazing that Democrats think blanket pardons are extraordinary for people who have committed no crimes, when the simple fact is we are living in extraordinary times, wherein the guy Democrats seem hell-bent on handing the country over to has vowed to prosecute people who have committed no crimes. That's the opening volley, Democrats. The ball is now in your court. And the only appropriate action is to respond in kind. Oh, you're going to go after people who have committed no crimes? Fine. We'll issue blanket pardons to those who have committed no crimes. This isn't rocket science, Democrats. It's nothing more than simple math. And while you sit there and diddle and dawdle and carefully weigh this and cautiously consider that, time's a-wasting. Oh, and do you hear that sound? Listen close. It's the sound of many Americans changing their voter registration from Democrat to Independent, or worse, to Republican. And if you want every last one of them to do that, Joe, or at least an overwhelming majority, pardon Donald Trump. But you know, there's another political side to this. The entirety of the media, both mainstream and the right-wing propaganda fascist hate media, have been obsessed with Joe Biden's understandable and I believe rational pardon of his son Hunter, and trying and failing, in my opinion, to make some sort of equivalence between that and Donald Trump, which in my view, there is none. Joe Biden could potentially diffuse and distract all media's unhealthy fixation with his son's pardon by issuing a shit ton more of them, just like I suggested he do last month after the election. But what does he do? What he's done throughout his entire presidency. He goes into hiding, which by proxy gives the entirety of the media permission to keep obsessing on his pardoning of his son. It's like no one poked him in the ribs and said, hey, Joe, you have presidential immunity. Our democracy dies in less than 2 months. Use it or lose it. And if you lose it, our nation and our democracy loses even more. And not that I have any delusions that Joe Biden watches and listens to my commentaries, although I would argue he most definitely should. Why did it take so long for this issue of preemptive pardons to make it into the White House and onto the news headlines when I suggested it over a month ago? Please go to my website, again, DougBasham.com, and I'd be grateful if you'd click on all of my social media links and subscribe, follow, like, comment, all that good stuff. But most importantly, please share and repost my commentaries. We're all in this together, and anything we do to help each other only helps our nation in the perilous situation in which it now finds itself. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Take care.